Let's be honest, Pokemon Nuzlocks are too easy. So when I was sitting down to do my own Pokemon Platinum Nuzlocke, I knew I had to do something different. I can't just fight the game's AI, it's way too easy. I had to fight a hive mind. The TikTok hive mind to be exact. So here was my rule. Every time I had a major battle, that means gym leaders, rivals, Team Plasma commanders, my TikTok commenters would get to vote one of my 6 party Pokemon to be released. My community had the full means to hinder any progress I might want to make. They could be really nice or really mean. Here are the full rules of the Nuzlocke that we'll be playing with, and without further ado, let's get to the playthrough. Wake up, Mom, it's time for an adventure. We named a rival TikTok since they'd be ruining our lives and got to work. First, we had to choose our starter. We had the options of Corsola, which was okay, Vileplume, my all-time favorite Pokemon, and Darkrai. Since this was the first major choice, TikTok of course chose Darkrai, because, of course. They named him Nightmare and we moved on. I was super excited to have a legendary for his starter and thought that this was gonna be easy. Even more when I found out his ability was Wonder Guard. So you're telling me I have a legendary Pokemon that only super effective moves can hit? Yeah, you know what? I'm fine with that. But Nightmare can't carry this playthrough by himself, so we caught a Magmar named Cornbread, a Vigoroth named Yeti, and a Carnivine named Bob. We had an all-around pretty solid team, and right after Jubilife City, it was time for our very first rival battle, which fully evolved Pokemon kinda stomped. But that's not the difficult part of this run. We had to vote a Pokemon off, and TikTok chose their first victim as Bob the Carnivine. Losing our grass type right before the rock gym sucks, but I'm sure this won't be a trend, right? Right? Anyways, we quickly replaced Bob with some new Pokemon. We caught a Glameow named Joe, a Larvitar named Prince, and a Ralts named Maggie. I was super hyped about getting a Larvitar. A pseudo-legendary is amazing here. But TikTok was much more excited about Maggie. Now, I like Gardevoir as much as the next guy. Okay, well maybe not that much. But I didn't know how much this Pokemon would bite me in the ass. But that's a story for later. Also, sorry to all the furries out there, I failed to catch a Lopunny in the mines, so this is my first YouTuber apology. So, I'm gonna be honest, I thought the first gym was gonna be a cakewalk. I had a legendary Pokemon with Wonder Guard, but I was so wrong. I found out on the first gym trainer that every single Geodude has Wonder Guard in this run, which meant I couldn't hit them. The only reason we were able to beat this demon Geodude with no casualties is by switching out until the Geodude struggled itself to death. And I don't want to point fingers, but this wouldn't have been an issue if we still had our Carnivine around. So, thanks for that. Anyways, we had to come up with a strategy, because Rourke also has a Wonder Guard Geodude, and that was gonna be 4 levels higher than our Pokemon. So, I had to do something I'm not 100% proud of. I had to teach our legendary Pokemon Rock Smash. Now, hey, calm down, it's not too bad, and I promise I won't teach any more legendary Pokemon Rock Smash. But now we were able to easily beat Rourke, and we voted out our Glameow in the process. At least now we get to catch some more Pokemon like Rohan the Trico, Coral the Shellos, and a Hoothoot named Rubik's Cube Laser of all things. Next, we traveled up to Floroma Town and pretty easily beat Commander Mars, which meant it was time for another vote out. We only had bangers in our party, so this was gonna hurt no matter who was voted out. But unfortunately, we said goodbye to Cornbread, our very first Pokemon. And just to twist the knife a bit more, Yeti died soon after to a fighting-type hidden power, which is bullshit if you ask me. Back to back, we've lost our 2 oldest Pokemon, so we had to rebuild from scratch. So we caught Bacon the Rhyhorn and Drunkenly the Mismagius. I didn't know if they wanted me to name them Drunkenly or have their name be Drunkenly, so I did both and I took a shot. But we needed some more heavy firepower, and we found out Rubik's Cube Laser also had Wonder Guard. We had 2 nearly invincible Pokemon, and we were ready to take on the second gym leader. Rubik's Cube Laser easily swept through Gardenia, and our chat decided to nix Rohan or Grovyle. I guess they hate Pokemon Mystery Dungeon or something, I don't know. Anyway, let's catch some new friends. Juan the Armaldo and Schmegulok the Spinda, hooray. Anyways, we stomped Team Galactic, TikTok dumped Armaldo, and spent nearly 20 minutes trying to hatch this egg Cynthia gave us, only for it to be a Grumpig. We caught a Zubat named Spade, asked Fantina to do her damn job, kicked her ass, and then released a Zubat named Spade. We had another rival battle in which we had to release Schmebulok the Spinda, and I realized here that stuff was getting pretty easy for me. We had 2 invincible Pokemon, so nothing was really gonna go wrong, right? We could just breeze through this. If you don't know basic storytelling principles, this is foreshadowing that stuff is about to go to shit. Cause the fighting gym was up next, and that means no Darkrai. They can actually hit us. Not to mention, there was sort of a cult forming in my comment sections surrounding Maggie the Curlia. They were eager to protect her and vote out weaker Pokemon instead. Awesome! This won't go badly at all, right? Yeah, we have the fighting gym next and I can actually hurt our Darkrai, but we still have Rubik's Cube Laser who should be able to do something against him, right? Unless he happens to start evolving. And I find out that evolving a Pokemon changes their abilities, and I figure this out because a Machop kills me while we're grinding, that wouldn't happen at all, right? Tears aside, this is a huge problem. We really only had 3 good Pokemon, and we needed more for the upcoming gyms. We needed something to take on Maylene and her Lucario, and fast. So we got to catching Pokemon. Turtwig the Lavender, Gert the Hoppip, Sailor Moon the Marill, Lalatina the Umbreon, and Rad Chad the Ludicolo were all added to the team. I love Umbreon as much as the next person, but they were gonna be terrible for this next gym. We needed something more. And then, we found him. Magikarp, baby! Woo! Is Gyarados a simple Pokemon? Yes. Is he also a flying type beast of a Pokemon? Also yes. This was not just a Pokemon. This was our Leviathan. Combine that with the fact that we got the TM for Air Cutter in the department building, we were ready for this gym. We challenged Maylene and easily defeated her first 2 Pokemon, but Lucario would be an issue. Because of our level cap, Lucario would be 8 levels higher than any of our Pokemon. We couldn't just brute force this, we had to cheese him out. The AI will always try to maximize damage, so when our Mismagius is out, they will avoid using fighting type moves since those won't hit ghost types. But when Darkrai is out, they'll only use fighting type moves since that's the only thing that can go through Wonder Guard. By switching between these 2 Pokemon, eventually Lucario would run out of PP and hopefully just struggle himself to death. The same strategy we used on Geodude in the very first gym. Unfortunately, what I didn't account for is that Lucario would run out of fighting type moves before anything else, and Mismagius paid the price. It was a tough sacrifice, but afterwards Nightmare was able to finish Lucario off. It was a tough loss, and even made worse by a sudden betrayal. It was once again time to vote out a Pokemon, and the comment section was ablaze between 2 groups. One group wanted, no, needed to get Maggie out, and of course the Maggie fan club. They had rallied and narrowly, by 1 vote, managed to save their queen. But the Pokemon they chose to sacrifice was Nightmare. Our starter Pokemon, our loyal Darkrai, whose overpowered ability had carried us to this point, was gone. I no longer had Darkrai to rely on. Even in regular battles, I was able to just have him carry us because we barely had any non-vote out casualties thanks to him. And now he was gone. The training wheels were off and we had no more Wonder Guard Pokemon anymore. No Rubik's Cube Laser, no Nightmare, nothing. This was the most vulnerable we ever were. Until I discovered that Gert, the Hoppip, was also a Wonder Guard user, and I had a new favorite Pokemon, the strongest Hoppip in the world. I knew no other god but Gert. We couldn't even evolve him because that would change his ability, so over and over we had to cancel his evolution. The only way we would be able to win is by making him the ultimate installer using Leech Seed and Poison Powder. But our Grand Champion couldn't win alone. He had Leviathan by his side and Maggie, the traitor, but we needed more. We caught bangers on our way to Pastoria City. Spark, the Magzone, with the ability to just roast Crasher Wake. Boomy, the Zangoose, a solid all-rounder with high attack. MC Flurry, a Tyrogue, a great fighting type. And Sherbert, the Seal, one of my favorite Ice-type Pokemon. As well as Schlepp, the Cloyster, you know, the censored in Japan Pokemon. These were all great, and we were ready to take on the gym. Our team was full of grass and electric types, ready to destroy Crasher Wake, but I had completely forgotten about a rival battle right before the gym. Our invincible god Gert managed to sweep his team, but it was still time for another vote out. The Maggie fan club weren't just satisfied with Nightmare, they chose Spark, the Magnezone, to leave. How do you all expect me to win without Magnezone? I don't know if the Maggie defenders have done the math, but if you vote out my strong Pokemon, Maggie's more likely to die. Maggie was easily climbing the ranks of the villains of the run, but if I tried to box her, I'm sure the Maggie fan club would just take revenge and do stuff even worse. I was no longer confident in my ability to take on Crash or Wake. Yes, we had 3 grass types, one which has Wonder Guard, but counterpoint, Float Cell, Ice Fang. Float Cell would be 9 levels higher than all of our Pokemon, faster and more powerful, with super effective moves against almost everyone. So instead of fighting the gym, we all left Pastoria to catch several more Pokemon, such as Todd the Dusknoir and Johnny with a G, the Gengar, who almost killed us with Curse. 2 really great ghost Pokemon. And this gave me an idea. We added Johnny the Gengar to the team and began our battle with Crash or Wake. Float Cell would still be 8 levels higher than us, but we had designed anti-Float Cell technology. So let's get this battle started. Gert was easily able to wipe both Quagsire and Gyarados because he is a god, but those 2 aren't the scary ones. We're here for this monster of a Float Cell. Unfortunately, to get the switch into Johnny that we needed, we had to let go of Ludicolo. But it was time for our anti-Float Cell technology. Combining a Choice Scarf with Johnny's Curse, we were able to get our Curse out on Float Cell before Johnny died. With the Curse active, all Leviathan needed to do was just wait out a couple of turns before the Float Cell succumbed to its Curse. Johnny and Radchat died for this, but we had defeated our greatest foe yet. Following close behind, TikTok decided to nix Lavender the Grottle since we haven't really been using them much. That is the second grass type starter they've released though. So we replaced them with Todd, Lalatina, and MC Flurry. A solid team. A bomb blew up and we had to chase Team Galactic for a bit. We gave drugs to a Psyduck and Maggie ascended to her final form, Gardevoir. And the Maggie fan club was simping harder than ever. We fought Cyrus in the ruins of Celestic Town, and unfortunately, we had to curse his Murkrow once again with Todd, which killed our Pokemon. A great Pokemon gone, but TikTok had released MC Flurry. An okay Pokemon gone. We replaced the holes in the team with Coral the Shellos and Sailor Moon the Marill, knowing that we had a Steel Gym next that also had a lot of ground types. On our way, we caught a Raichu named Croissant, a Nidoran named Barber, and a Stunky named Mikey D's. Mikey D's nuts! Yeah. You're definitely the first person to make that joke. Anyways, it was time for another rival battle, and hooray, these are easy. Frankly, the Gen 4 rival is probably one of the easier rivals to beat. But when it came time to release a Pokemon, damn it! Why would you do this? Leviathan the Gyarados was voted out, one of our strongest. It just seems like every time I get a new favorite Pokemon that isn't Gardevoir, TikTok decides to vote them out. But from the deep darkness, a light will shine. Before the gym, we traveled all across Sinnoh, fishing in towns to get Pokemon that we couldn't get before. On Iron Islands, Pokemon, the Roselia. In Twinleaf Town, Azula, the Leafeon. In Canalve City, we caught Schmebulock II, the Azelf, a legendary Pokemon. But that's not all. In the grass of Route 2, we found an obsidian black shiny Camerupt. Now, by the rules of this Nuzlocke that I made, we are allowed to catch this magnificent creature, and we dubbed him Krakatoa. After our Gastrodon Coral single-handedly swept through Byron, it was time to once again vote out a Pokemon. And I was pissed! How could they do this to me? How could they vote out Gert, my beautiful baby boy? He was the best of us. He was a god among Hoppips. But we would win this run for him and all of the Pokemon that we had left behind. We added Croissant to our party and went on our way, fighting Team Galactic. Now, if you've played the Gen 4 games, you know that we have almost no Pokemon left to catch, but a lot left to lose. From here on out, we're gonna fight Team Galactic commander after commander, and I was at the mercy of the Maggie fan club. While fighting Commander Saturn, I may have been so angry I tried to accidentally kill Maggie, but despite her taking a direct feint attack from Toxicroak, she still managed to destroy him. I guess Saturn is just the biggest chump in Team Galactic. Fine, TikTok gets to live and they voted out Croissant the Raichu. We never even got to use them. Well, it was time to fight Commander Mars now. I thought this was going to be easy. The last time we fought Perugly, we just rock smashed them to death. And while we didn't have Nightmare anymore, we still had Schmebulock 2, the Azelf. We were sweeping Mars' team, but Golbat had gotten a Toxicoff, so we really needed to switch out when Perugly came around. But something was wrong. Perugly had a Rita Trap! And we didn't figure this out last time because, Wonder Guard. But now Perugly had come back with a passion, and we were unable to save our Azelf. This was a huge loss, and sensing our pain, TikTok decided to nix Sailor Moon, our Azumarill. Well, at least now it's time to head up to Snowpoint City, and luckily we get to catch 3 new Pokemon. Obsidian, the Aggron, Roll20, the Glalie, and a new god to worship, because in our darkest hours we find the light, the box legendary Giratina, who we named Pikachu. These were great because our current team was, how you would say, suboptimal. In non-nerd speak, it sucked ass. We took Obsidian and it was time to fight Candace. This was an emotional roller coaster of a battle that can all be summed in this one clip. Okay, as long as we survive this. We survived! We're frozen! We thawed out! We killed them! But unfortunately, Obsidian the Aggron had to die for us to proceed. After another close vote out, and by a single vote, Coral, our lovely Gastrodon, who has been carrying this team through since Byron, had been voted out, and Maggie once again taking second place. One day, this cursed Gardevoir would fall. We went out to catch more Pokemon in the last 3 areas we could. Johannes the Silcoon in Eterna City, Tubby Boy, the Electivire in Lake Acuity, and in Fugo Ironworks, Lava Girl the Swamper. We traveled to Veilstone to take on Team Galactic, stomping Cyrus and losing Boomy the Zangoose. But that wasn't all. We had to fight Saturn again. We stomped him again as he was the weakest Team Galactic commander, and we lost our beautiful Umbreon Lalatina. We had her for a long time, and she had gotten through some close calls, but we still had her sister, Azula the Leafeon, and we made our way towards Spear Pillar, almost killing Maggie again, but she managed to skate by. It was time to fight both Mars and Jupiter, and I just want to say, I dunk on the rival battles in this game for being really easy, but oh my god, is this the easiest boss battle in the game. The whole time they just targeted our rivals' Pokemon, so we just used group moves like Surf and Lava Plume and just managed to get by easily. Easy as it was, it's still a boss battle and we lost Azula the Leafeon. I guess TikTok just hates evolutions or something. But now it was time for the Distortion Zone, and I was excited because we're about to get another legendary Pokemon. I know a lot of people disapprove of using legendaries in Nuzlocke, but oh my gosh, I'm living in Struggle City over here. I'm fighting for my damn life, so I am gonna use it. But before that, it was time for the Cyrus fight. This was our most powerful team yet. Krakatoa, the shiny Camerupt, Lava Girl, the Swamper, Nat 20, the Glalie, Tubby Boy, the Electivire, Pikachu, the Giratina, and the Queen of the Run herself, Maggie the Gardevoir, the terrible, terrible Pokemon who was making my life hell. Lava Girl was easily able to take out Houndoom but got burned in the process. Tubby Boy was barely able to defeat Gyarados, and Weavile eventually finished them off. Sleep well, sweet Tubby Prince. Krakatoa will avenge you, with Lava Plume killing Weavile with a critical hit. Then it was Honchkrow, the most dangerous Pokemon in Cyrus's arsenal. We had to sack Lava Girl, allowing her to die so that Nat 20 could come in with an Ice Beam. And thanks to a lucky miss, Nat 20 was able to defeat Honchkrow. What a miracle. Truly a natural 20 at the end of the day. Unfortunately, we had to let Nat 20 pass on so that we could easily switch into Maggie. We needed to take down Crobat. And here, when the cards were down and the Maggie fan club on the edge of their seats, Maggie was unable to deal the finishing blow and nearly died in the process. Now that I actually need her to kill a Pokemon, she can't. It seems like that she can only kill ours. Anyways, Pikachu the Giratina was able to win the rest of the day. Now, before we vote another Pokemon out, it was time to catch a legendary Pokemon. And we needed something good. We had just lost half of our team in a match and we were about to lose one more. And our new legendary Pokemon was a Giratina. Another Giratina. I'm not about to use 2 of these, so we just let it go. But now it's time for a vote up. There were only 3 choices left. The shiny Camerupt Krakatoa, the legendary Ghost Dragon Pikachu the Giratina, who frankly we had been kind of making into an HM slave, or the one true Queen of the Run. And after 7 gym battles won and over 30 Pokemon voted out, we got him! We got Maggie voted out. I don't know if I've done a good enough job communicating how beloved this damn Gardevoir was to people. They even made fan edits of Maggie. Whether you were in the Maggie fan club or were one of the people who finally managed to vote her out, this playthrough was shaped by this Gardevoir. And her departure meant that we were finally in the endgame. We had defeated the 2 villains of this run. But for now, we needed 4 new Pokemon to fill out our team and rebuild it once again. We caught John the Grimer and Buzzy the Beedrill, but for Volkner, our team consisted of Krakatoa, Sherbert the Dugong, Mikey D's the Skuntank, John the Muck, and Bacon the Rhyhorn, as well as Pikachu the HM Slave. We trounced Volkner but lost Braken in the process, voting out John the Muck. And then we caught our final 3 Pokemon. Appa the Baniri, Billy Bob the Togepi, and in Victory Road, our final Pokemon, a Shaman. Another legendary Pokemon we affectionately named Cabbage. It was time for our final rival battle, and we once again defeated TikTok without losing a Pokemon and voted out our final Pokemon. Throughout this, I think I had finally made peace with our TikTok overlords, and they showed mercy by voting out our Beedrill. This wasn't an insult, it was a challenge. They wanted 2 legendary Pokemon in our party. They wanted a shiny Pokemon in our party. They were telling me that they wanted me to become champion. And champion I would become. We added our final Pokemon to the party, and we had our champion team. Krakatoa, the shiny camera, now one of our oldest Pokemon. Sherbert, the Dugong, the cute little icy tank that could. Mikey D's the Skuntank, another solid special defensive Pokemon with dark type moves. Pikachu the Giratina, maybe an HM slave, but still a legendary Pokemon. The late bloomer Cabbage the Shaman, another great versatile Pokemon for stalling. But we needed one final member, and I boxed him so long ago. I never gave TikTok the chance to vote him out. But it was time for Prince, the Larvitar, to rise. He was safe in our box this entire run. Let's take on the Elite Four. The Righteous Flames of Krakatoa easily blazed through Aaron's bug team, while Sherbert in combination with the newcomer Cabbage made mincemeat of Bertha's ground Pokemon. Flint gave us so much trouble. We managed to get through most of his team, but we got to Rapidash, and every single one of our Pokemon had been injured, except for Mikey D. We had to make the switch, but we knew there was only one way out of this. With his final breath, Mikey D's used Explosion, taking down Rapidash with him. You may have lived as a D's nuts joke, but you died and exploded a hero, Mikey D's. Stricken with grief, Pikachu, the HM slave, swept through Lucian, and right before our final battle, Prince had evolved into a Tyranitar. We were finally ready for our champion fight. Over 30 of our lovely Pokemon have been murdered or voted out. Nightmare the Darkrai, our starter. Gert, the god among Hoppips. Even Queen Maggie, the Gardevoir. Devil or goddess, depending on who you ask. All died to get us to this moment. Our moment! We led with Prince, easily using Stone Edge to defeat Spiritomb. Cynthia sends in Lucario. Predicting the Aura Sphere, we switch out into Pikachu. And after a battle of Shadow Ball versus Fly, we prevailed. Pikachu was then destroyed by Garchomp, our first loss in this champion battle. I didn't expect to have to fight this beast of a Pokemon this early on, but we had a Cabbage. Leech Seed, Synthesis, Bullet Seed. This was a winning combination, and Cabbage came in late, but Cabbage came in hard! Cynthia was at the edge of her rope and decided for a Hail Mary. Garchomp Giga impacted and failed to deliver the final blow to Cabbage. We took advantage of Garchomp recharging and finished them off. Togekiss came in next, so we once again sent out Prince. We needed to outspeed Togekiss or Prince would die to an Aura Sphere. But thanks to a Choice Scarf, Prince once again prevailed with another Stone Edge. Now, it was my lot. I fully intended to sack Cabbage here, but somehow, with only 35 health, Cabbage lived. After a couple Leech Seeds and a couple Synthesises, Cabbage had prevailed over Cynthia's 2 most iconic Pokemon, and cemented themselves as one of the greatest Pokemon in this run. But Cynthia's final Pokemon, Roserade, put the legend of Cabbage to rest. We were down to 3 Pokemon, and it was time for Krakatoa to rise and sparkle like we know he can. With one final earthquake, Roserade fell, and we rose. Champions. The run was completed, but at what cost? We had lost so many lovely Pokemon. This was probably the most stressful, fun, terrible, and amazing Pokemon experience I had ever had. And I think a lot of it was because I didn't play alone. I got to play it with thousands and thousands of people all voting with me and deciding which Pokemon to keep or not. This meant that not only was I getting attached to certain Pokemon that stuck around, but we had to always adapt and think about what we could do next. We never really fell into a status quo. We always had to figure out and use new Pokemon. And I used a ton of Pokemon that I never got to use in runs. I never would have expected a camera would become the crux of our party, nor would I think that a Pokemon like Coral or even a Hoppip would be able to carry us through gym battles. Sometimes me and TikTok were at odds, and sometimes we worked towards a common goal. But either way, we got through it, and we won together. This is definitely something I'm eager to do again, so please let me know if it's something you'd be interested in.